Welcome to the Context Machine, episode number 712. Do you hear that, Jeff? 712. I'm Bryan Chapman.
Huh. And I'm Jeff Gamet, and I'm not going to try and come up with something clever about the numbers this time because, top men. Anyhow, we have a website, and that website is contextmachine.io. You can go there and find stuff like our merch.
Yes, like our merch. You can also use contextmachine.io to reach out to us, or you can find us on YouTube at Context Machine Show, or you can write to us at podcast@contextmachine.io.
Sweet. Also sweet, we have a sponsor this week, Bryan. Our sponsor is MacPaws Clean My Mac.
Oh, that's fantastic. Love those guys. Love those guys so much. And we're going to tell you more about them later in the show. So we are a little sort of compressed on time. I'm in the process of moving. You've got some whoring to do. Is that right?
Yeah, I mix up that word and other podcasts like all the time.
No, that's very confusing. That's me that mixes that up. I'm the one who constantly insults you and calls you a podcast whore because I'm a rude friend.
Yeah, but I love you anyhow.
Oh, thank you, man. I love you too. Anyway, so you've got another show coming up. So we're doing a tip show today. Is that right?
Yeah. And that'll let you get back to packing a little bit faster too.
Yay! All right. So why don't you tell us about Mac locations? You started to explain this, and I said stop. So tell us.
All right. Okay. So locations in Mac OS, and this goes back several versions. Also, for those of you old timers, this is not like locations the way we remember it in System 9, System 8, where it was actually fracking crazy cool. But the new locations is super useful. And where this came in really handy for me was when I realized that when I set up what I call my universal set of network settings, so that I can like hop from my own network and go to a public network or a friend's place and hop on their network, and then gracefully have DNS fall back to something that will work on their network because I've got my Pi hole, different setup. Okay. Anyhow. What I realized is that there's some public locations where if I have my own DNS set, this actually applies in Apple stores too. You can't get web pages to load because it's blocking your DNS. And so in my case, it'd be like using Cloudflare 1.1.1.1. It wouldn't work. So what I used to do is go in and delete all of my DNS entries and then put them back in later. And one day I realized that's really stupid. Let's use locations. So with locations, you can go and set up unique network settings for any place you want. And that's what this is. So here's how you get to this, Bryan. And since you're going to be in the middle of all the moving stuff, you may be jumping networks, and you may want to have different network settings depending on where you are. So you need to open the System Settings app on your Mac.
Okay, I'm going there now. Yes.
All right, and now you need to open the Network Settings pane. We used to call them pref panes in the old days. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Those good times. Good times.
Okay, so you can see right now that you have all your network connections listed for you, and you might even have some other services that are listed as well. Your firewall is probably showing up in there. So scroll to the very bottom.
Okay.
And you'll see on the right, there's a very descriptive button. It's an ellipsis and a down caret.
Interesting.
Like a little chevron, which tells you literally nothing of value.
Right.
But click on that and you get a little pop-up.
Yep.
The bottom option on the pop-up says locations.
Right. Automatic. And then I can edit locations.
And And so if you choose edit locations, you can just make a new location and then have whatever network interfaces active that you want. You can set up DNS for whatever you want that to be, and just all those network settings. So you can have different network settings for different types of networks. And so what I ultimately did was made one that's for my made another one that's for networks that have where if I have anything in the DNS settings, it just won't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another one that has like different network ports shut off. And then I have another one that I have set up just so I can go in and screw around if I'm troubleshooting. And that way I don't mess up any of my real network settings, but I have like a sandboxed playground for network settings.
Right. That makes sense. And it seems like you could also set up a location for being at, like, say, a coffee shop, so that you've got everything locked down, or any kind of public Wi-Fi for any kind of public Wi-Fi network when you might be using one. That's a stupid thing to say, but yeah, you can have all your firewalls up and everything locked down.
Yeah. And you can have as much as you want.
Cool.
So when I say as much as you want, as many setting configurations as you want.
So I feel like I do remember this from the OS 9 days, right?
Yeah, in OS 9 it was way better because it lets you change all your settings.
Right. Yes, I remember that. But
yeah,
I feel like that Mac OS just sort of automatically manages your Wi-Fi networks in particular whenever you go somewhere else. So yeah, and so I haven't thought about locations in years. I'd forgotten that this even existed. Is my point.
And but
I feel like really most people probably don't need to do this all the time.
You know, if you have never touched network settings at all on your Mac, mm-hmm. then you probably don't need to deal with locations. But if you've done anything to customize your settings for whatever, then yeah, maybe you need to be looking at locations. I wish it still did the things like we had back in the System 8, System 9 days, where I could have specific printers that are for a location, and then it would, and then I could set what the default printer is depending on where I am, and then have it set like time zones.
Yeah,
because back then it was like, well, if I'm traveling, but I travel there a lot. Okay, now I've got that set, and I mean, you could set so much with the old locations.
But Mac OS just sort of natively and quietly handles most of that today. Like the one thing that I keep coming back to in my mind is, in particular, having like your firewall active and having it be extra active, like having it be John Martellaro active.
Yeah.
In a public space.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need it John Martellaro active in my home.
Set it John well, yeah, you're right. I mean, I have mine set so that my Mac is just invisible as it can be on the network. It's not going to respond to pings, and even at home, simply because I've got it all set the way I want. But yeah, being able to have granular control over all of your network settings, depending on where you are, is a nice thing to have.
Yeah, fair enough.
So there you go.
So what do you use this for today?
Today, I'm using this just so I have unique network configurations and settings configurations depending on where I am. Like here in my office, since I have a Pi-hole set up, I have very specific DNS that I use that's local. And if I were to try and use that when I'm out and about, it's not going to work. So one of the biggest things I have is DNS settings, and but then also for troubleshooting, because I have that other location where I can hop in and just completely screw around with network settings, DNS, TCP/IP.
Sure.
I can screw with all of it without risking messing up the settings that I want to use when I'm here at my office.
That makes sense. All right. Thanks for the reminder.
There you go.
That's good.
I've got your back. Well, and you're going to be doing some traveling, so
I am.
I figured this one would be handy for you.
Yeah, it will be. All right. So then you wanted to talk about Handoff and how it doesn't always work. Is that correct?
I'm going to talk about how it works really cool.
Okay.
For web browsing.
Okay.
So, all right. So a thing that I do in the mornings is I read some news, and I'll end up with a bunch of web pages open on my iPad. And so I'm not using Safari on my Mac. So I don't have website syncing going on like through iCloud. You can do a Safari, but that's no big deal because Handoff works regardless of what web browser you're using. So, for example, I have mobile Safari on my iPad. I can have a web page open that I'm looking at on the iPad, and on my Mac, if I do the Command Tab thing to move between apps, I'll get at the far left the little block for Handoff,
right,
for my web browser. But it doesn't matter that on my Mac I'm using Helium.
Okay,
it still does the handoff exactly as it should. So the point here is you have a lot of flexibility with what you're doing as far as web browsers go, and being able to hand off websites. So you're not locked into Safari and just using the Safari sync thing, or using some other browser and its sync thing. You can let Handoff handle it for you.
That makes sense. And from the standpoint of, I really don't need, I'm fine with Apple syncing my stuff. My choice is that I'm fine with Apple syncing my stuff. I really don't need Chrome keeping track of what I'm doing between devices.
I am so with you on that.
Or Firefox or anything else.
Yep. And yes, same.
Although,
and since
Google still probably is keeping track, they're just keeping track with other ways.
They have plenty of ways, and no, your iPhone's not listening to you.
No.
And reporting to Google. No, not happening.
All right. So while we're talking about Handoff, though, I'd like to talk about my beef with Handoff, which is...
I would love to hear about your beef with Handoff.
Well, sometimes Handoff, with the copy and paste feature. So with Handoff, in the last many versions of iOS, iPadOS, and macOS, you can, if you have your device open, you can copy on one device and it'll be available to paste on another device.
Yes.
That doesn't always work for me. I don't know why.
Same.
I've never been able to figure out why sometimes it will just not work.
I don't have an answer for you on that.
Well, what good are you? Don't you know you're supposed to give me answers?
Okay. Well, Brian, I have a feeling that there's an issue with the bit rate in your slipstream. And I think if you reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, right, that will fix your handoff. Excellent. There you go. Now you have an answer.
Yeah, let me finish my notes. Tap, tap, tap. Got it. Thanks. So have you noticed that, though?
I do have that problem periodically. Most of my copy paste actually is URLs, because I'm like copying a URL out of a browser, but then pasting it into a document.
Right. Okay. Fair
on
enough.
a different device.
Right.
But I guess so. Ultimately, it doesn't matter that it's URL because it's just text.
Well, I sometimes need to do it for passwords. It's easier to copy and paste a password on my Mac than it is on getting into 1Password on my iPhone. It's just faster to do it on my Mac. But then I want to paste it onto my iPad or into my iPhone, and sometimes it doesn't work. It's freaking annoying.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me more is that you're able to copy a password out of 1Password on your Mac and actually get it to paste on another device.
That does sometimes work, I feel.
I was under the assumption that the way 1Password handles copy and paste is that it's sandboxing it. So you can't take it and put it, you can't take what's in the clipboard that 1Password is filling, and then toss it to another device. But apparently you can, at least in some situations. And I might be wrong, and maybe you're supposed to be able to do it everywhere, but I thought that it was really locked down. Because here's an example for you. The password manager that I use is Pastebot.
Yeah.
And so I can look at a window of everything that's been copied. And well, actually, the clipboard manager thing that's built into macOS Big Lake, you can look at a list of what you pasted there too, or copied. But 1Password never shows up in the list of copied items. So I never see a password there.
Okay, I'm thinking that you're right, and that you've probably that the sometimes doesn't work is specifically because I've been doing it with 1Password. I just tested it and it doesn't work, and then I grabbed a URL and it did work. With my iPad.
Well, maybe we solved that mystery for you.
Yeah, maybe.
So do you not have 1Password installed on your iPad?
I do. Like I said, it's sometimes when I'm working at my Mac and I'm doing something on my iPhone and I need a password on my iPhone, it is faster to grab it from my Mac.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
especially if because when you've got to go to 1Password to get your login name, your username, and then you've got to go back to do it again. You've got two sets of IDs that you got to go through.
So is this like in specific apps that you have to log in?
Yeah, sure.
Versus a website?
Sure. Yeah, especially those that are doing this thing where they'll they want your they don't give you the username and password field together.
Okay, most websites, in my experience, 1Password on iOS and iPadOS will handle that gracefully for you and do the autofills. But there are some apps.
There are some that do it, and apps do not.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah. If it's an app that's basically just a web wrapper or website wrapper, then it works okay. If not, then it means that the developer didn't do whatever the hook API or whatever thing is that they need to do to support 1Password. Right. But it's a thing that they can do.
Right. Right. All right.
So yeah. Okay. Now I have a better understanding, and I get why sometimes you're copying from your Mac and trying to paste back to something on your iPad or iPhone.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for coming along. All right. So why don't you tell us about MacPaw? This Clean My Mac business.
I would love to do that because Clean My Mac is something both of us are very familiar with and use. But there's a feature that maybe you haven't had a chance to play with, and it's called My Clutter. So let's say that you realize that maybe your file organizing isn't as efficient as it could be. That means you probably have a bunch of duplicate files on your Mac. My Clutter goes through and finds all of those duplicate files so you can figure out which versions are the ones you actually need to keep. And then as a bonus, there's this other cool thing called Space Lens. This is what lets you look at all your files in a visual way, so you can see what files are taking up the most space, and then figure out where maybe you need to go look and see, well, why do I have all these files? So like you could see a big block for your iPhoto library, or maybe there's another big block for all of your music. Okay, you can see all that stuff, and then figure out what it is that you need to do to start clearing all that stuff out and free up more space on my Mac. So go play with these features.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, and because I'm talking about My Clutter and Space Lens, what you need to do is go and get Tidy today. So you can get 7 days free and use our code Context Machine, that's all uppercase letters, to get 20% off of Clean My Mac. And you can get that at the website CLNMY, Clean My, CLNMY.com/Context Machine. So thank you to MacPaw and Clean My Mac for being our sponsor this week.
Love MacPaw. I love Clean My Mac. I've been using it for years. Can't endorse it enough.
Oh, you can try.
That's true. All right. So you had one more tip for us today, a Mac system settings tip. I don't even know what it is. So
okay. So what I'm doing is bringing it full circle for you, because we started with something in system settings, and you know how finding what you want in system settings is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yep.
I'm going to give you 2 ways to make it easier to find what you want. So right now you already have system settings open because you're following along to play with locations.
Yep.
So here's what you do. In the menu bar, system settings, edit, view. Click on that view menu.
Yep.
You get an alphabetical list of every setting that you have.
Obviously. Oh my God. Yeah. So when we were looking at the network, for instance, when we were looking for the network folders, I couldn't find it. And I was fumbling around, but if I'd gone to the view menu, I would have had it in alphabetical order. That makes so much sense.
And this is typically how I end up getting to whatever system setting I need to get to. Just the alphabetical list.
That makes sense.
Okay. So now, Bryan, since you have system settings open right now, go ahead and, do you have it showing all the time in your dock?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Then quit system settings for me right now.
Okay.
And now go to the system settings icon in your dock and control click on it.
Control click on system settings. Okay, gotta find it. Top men. There we go. Control click. Yes. Oh yeah.
And now you get a pop-up list of all your system settings options in alphabetical order.
And it does not give that to you if it's running.
Correct.
That's interesting. That's an interesting choice. Why wouldn't they also put that same menu list in there when it's running?
I have asked that question many, many times.
Did you ever get an answer?
But no.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. All right. That useful, man. Thanks. That's good stuff. All right.
Yeah, I've got your back.
Thanks for the Bryan Help Hour.
Yeah. I'm all about making your life easier, Bryan.
You are, as you should be.
Fair. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do this. And that's this week's Context Machine. If you have anything to add, to comment on, add, or question, you can write us at podcast@contextmachine.io. You can find us on Blue Sky, our Threads, right? Context Machine podcast on Threads, and contextmachine.bscott@social on. Yeah. You know what?
I love the way you said that with conviction.
Yeah. You can look in the show notes. You can find these links. And I'll get this down in 15 or 20 shows. So that's good. Our bandwidth is provided by CashFly. The bass is by Dr. Boom, recorded just for this show. And I think you have something to say, Jeff.
I always have something to say. First off, if you are going to MacStock, use my discount code DigiWizard.
Yep.
And then also, hey, MacPaw, Clean My Mac, thank you for being our sponsor this week. Go to their website, clnmy.com/context machine, so you can get your 7-day free trial and your 20% off.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Clean My Mac.
That's fantastic. And on that happy note, man, have a good week.